Some yin time, some being, some slowing down, some breathing. Wonderful. You can. Let's start in a short seated meditation. So as I said, we will need a belt today. If you don't have a belt, you can use the belt from your bathroom wardrobe, or even a belt, a leather belt. It's not always as comfortable, but that can work as well. And then you can come into a comfortable seated position. If you want to push play on the playlist, make sure you push shuffle, or you can just randomly go anywhere on the list and push play and then not shuffle, because it is like 38 hours long. Ziggy is also ready for her yin. She's having a shower. Sweet. Okay, we made it to our mats. Oh, hello. The cats are all here. The cats are ready to yin as well. So let's close our eyes. And just take a deep breath in. And then you can make a bit of a dramatic sound when you sigh out. And with that sigh, let's do that one more time. With that sigh, we just leave the day behind. It is what it is. It was what it was. We did our best. We've done what we had to do. And now we'll use this yin practice to use it as a bridge into calmer energy, into evening energy, into slowing down our central nervous system. So we can actually almost already, it sounds strange, but in a way, when you practice yin yoga, you're already preparing your sleep rituals. You're already telling your body it's time to calm down. It's time to start to rest. And hopefully they will also make you sleep better tonight. Because the deeper layers of your being have already found a bit of a switching off mode, the rest and recovery mode. And the breath can help with that as well. So take slow, deep breaths in and out. A sigh, as we did just now, is always welcome. And an exhale that is a little longer than your inhale can also calm down the central nervous system. Please know that it's totally normal for you to still be winding down from your day. So if thoughts come up that are related to things you were busy with now, it's okay. Just let them be there and they'll start to disappear, or at least go more towards the background of your awareness. And bring your breath to the front of your awareness. And keep practicing that. Let's take a couple more rounds of breath here. Already noticing a subtle calmness, a more centered feeling, a being right here, right now. You may place your hands in front of the heart, a gesture to celebrate our individual uniqueness and the lovely collective connectiveness that also exists. It's that lovely dance of love. And you may set your intention or dedication. And then let's meet in a child's pose with a block. If you have two blocks, it might actually even be easier. Something where you can put your elbows. We've done this one before, so it's a little bit of a puzzle. You can choose to bring the knees as wide as you want. I've got quite short, quite small shoulders. So for me, it is not a problem to put both elbows on one block. But if you feel that that's just a little too tight, put two blocks next to each other, or two books of the same height. And then you'll try to keep the bum glued to your heels. Then you reach one elbow forward. The first one is just kind of to measure out. So where can the block be? So the elbow is on the edge. Push it a little bit further forward. And then there's two ways when you put both elbows down. You can either just let the head rest on the block. It's far away so you can breathe freely. Or maybe your head will fall in between the arms. And then you can even press the block a little bit forward. Ooh, yes. Let me check if you all look happy. Good, wonderful. Settling into our hips and also moving into our armpits, shoulders. So really two areas where we hold on to quite a lot. Often the hips hold on to tension because if we just take the physical part of our bodies, just because of the walking and the sitting and, they're big joints, also big movements with the hip joints. And the shoulders are also an area where we sometimes hold on to tension because of the work we do, often behind computers, shoulders coming up towards the ears, but also the shoulders are very close to the brain. And most of us have quite intellectual jobs, brain kind of jobs where we think a lot. So it's very close to that area of the brain. So it's an area which has been very active probably today. So let's find some space in both areas in this lovely shape. Come back to your breath and let the exhale really bring some surrender and softness. Have you ever tried to inhale as long as possible? Just see with a sense of curiosity. Rather than determining it has to be 6 counts, go for 10 and see if you can maybe get to 12 without forcing it. Slow. When you think you're full, just gently sip in a little bit more air and you'll be surprised how much you can extend that inhale. Like a balloon that is already full with air, and then you can just put a little bit more air inside. And the same on the exhale, so you breathe really slow, really deep. Unhinge your jaw. And with every breath, come more into the present, almost like the past is like a movie or like clouds, and you're just letting it go. The chapter is closed, book can be closed, the movie is finished of whatever happened this day, or whatever thoughts are related to today are clouds that are just passing by, and you're just letting them go. Focusing on now, this moment, with each breath. And really just noticing the sensations in the body as well. Maybe you've found an edge, whether that's in the hips or in the shoulders, or even the contact of the back of the arms onto the block. That might also start to talk in a way. Whenever you draw your mind, whenever you pay attention to the breath or to sensations in the body, you are connecting yourself to this moment. Around 6 to 8 more breaths here. And then slowly extend the arms, lift your head up and away from the floor. Walk your hands a little bit closer. Nice. And then you can come to a seated position. So you just bring the bum to the side and you extend the legs in front of you. Now there's different options here. So an option is always, so specifically if you feel like, hey, how can I sit more upright, specifically here in the lower back? When in doubt, just go a little bit higher. And you can place your buttocks onto a block. We're going to do half cow face for some of you that are comfortable with that. So in half cow face, if you have your right leg extended, your left foot is going to point, the knees are going to stack on top of each other. You find your sit bones. So there could be a block underneath you, or rather than doing half cow, you can also put that foot onto the floor, if that is a little bit easier for you. Then you'll need your belt. For archer arms, let me actually put the timer already ready, because once the archer arms are there, our arms are locked in. We will, so it's our left knee that is bent. So you bring your right arm up to the sky, and that right hand is going to sit between your shoulder blades somewhere. Your left hand either reaches. Some of you might just have the fingers interlaced. Otherwise, your belt, make it long, and hold on to the edges of the belt. And you walk the belt, you walk your hands towards each other, behind you, until you find your edge. And we'll stay upright for half of our time. So we'll be here for 5 minutes. Most of our shapes we do for around 5 minutes. If you want somewhere halfway, you could also choose to come forward. So close your eyes. And now notice if you're already starting to round. So if you feel that you're rounding, maybe give yourself a little bit of slack and try to sit upright, pointing that right elbow up towards the sky. A back bend, it's not really a back bend, but there is a bit of a lift. Because the arms are behind you, often the tendency is to want to round forward. So can you sit upright? I'm going to keep my belt there. I can, and this is also quite nice. If you can interlace your fingers, you may, but then the belt can be there just in case you're like, okay, this is getting too much. And you can just unhook the fingers and the belt is already there without having to completely start the pose again. And now the front of the rib cage is quite open. So you can bring your attention to the ribs and feel the in and the exhales and what the in and the exhales do to the body. The inhale is often spacious, expansive, like a balloon again. It blows up, your energy is outwards. More like taller, broader, wider, spacious. And even though your physical shape maintains the same, the energy is a bit like, okay, centered, sinking, grounding on the exhale. Nice. Commit to that stillness, maybe close your eyes. We are almost halfway. So your option here, specifically if you're already quite a person that rounds a lot forward, you may just stay, or you can bow your head forward and you'll start to feel that quite cool. I personally feel that then the stretch in the hips gets a little bit more intense. Only if it serves. Soften the neck and the shoulders. Stay with the breath. A little harder to breathe here as well. Quite a strong one to start off with, guys. But so nice for the arms, the shoulders, the heart. Also a shape where we're looking at the hips and the shoulders. Breathe. Ooh, a minute to go. I can feel the edge now. Stay with your breath. Around 4 more rounds of breath. Well done. And then slowly, if you're leaning forward, reach up. Now when you release the hands, first just open the palms. So spread the fingers away from each other. And then with those jazz hands, as I call them, ooh, la, 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 la. Phew. Let's stop. I can see the slow motion movement. You might just want to roll the shoulders a couple of times, just to bring a bit of movement in. From here, we are going to scoop our hips forward. So you're changing your half cow or knee up to a figure 4. But you can do that also once you're on your back. Take your strap with. So I'm just going to scoop my hips a little forward. You can also look first. So you're in a figure 4. And then we add on the belt around the ball of the right foot. The hair out of the way. And then you can choose to hold on with the one hand or with the 2 hands. But then also check. So what often happens is that we want to hold on high, high, high. But then the shoulders start to come forward and rounding again, which we've done all day already. So in that case, rather give yourself some slack again, less is more, and see if you can glue the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blades, but also the outer edges. If you can glue that part towards the floor. And if you want, you can also hold on with the right hand only, glue the shoulder blades to the floor, and then kind of use your left elbow or the hand is a bit active. If your left elbow can just find the inside of the knee, that means that you're pressing that knee gently away from you, which makes it more intense. But if you do that with the hand, it kind of really activates the shoulders. So if you do it with the elbow, it might just work, it might not, and that's okay. For some of us, the leg will be very far away, and that's okay. You can also do that with intention. You can also just energetically, in your head, move that left knee away from your chest, and that's enough. Remember that when we are inverted, so when the legs are up, this is very good for your blood circulation, for your lymph. And then we find the breath again. Nice slow breaths in and out. Soft breaths in and out. Unhinge your jaw. A last adjustment can also be to bring your chin a little closer to the throat. So pretend that you've got like a rolled up socks that fits just underneath the chin, or you want to softly create a double chin in your chin tucking, and not active, just a little bit, and it lengthens the back of the neck. Stay with the breath. Around 4 to 6 counts, breathe in. 6 to 8 counts to breathe out. What can you soften on the next exhale? Maybe your right hand or both hands can go a little bit higher towards the foot for the last couple of moments here, making it a little more intense. You don't have to. You really don't have to. It's just an option. Creating space in the back line of the right leg, creating space in your left hip, creating space in your mind by just being still. Space for new clear ideas, space for calmness and preparation of the evening, and a good night's sleep. Two more rounds of breath here. Slowly release the belts. Let that right foot come down towards the floor. Ooh, nice. I don't know if you ever had that. I had like a little cluck in my left hip. I think it was the SI joints. I know sometimes tension comes up there. Then bring the feet hip width apart, or actually mat width apart. And let's just need the knees knocking towards each other. Just find a comfortable space there to take a couple of rounds of breath. Focus on the belly rising and falling, the belly button rising and falling. Whenever I have a little clack, like a little cluck, a clack that doesn't happen normally, I have to actually, it only happens in it. And that just for me is a proof that it works. There was tension there, it struggled to release, and it's only because I've been in that shape for like longer periods of time that the muscles and the fascia started to soften, and the bones had the opportunity to go clack. It's almost like a little mini sigh in that area of the body. Okay, let's go into our supported bridge pose. I suddenly realized we haven't done that one for a while. So if you have a block, lower part, middle part, higher part, my mind, I'm also like an ambitious person, so my mind often wants to go into high. Let's first check high, and then my body goes, I can't relax yet, and then we can go medium, and that's okay. Or somewhere in between, where you use a pillow and a block. Settle in, so the block is under the sacrum, and the body can really rest onto the block. So there's no wobbling here. It's not a balanced pose. It's a stable pose. The feet are hip width apart. Where's my clock? There's my clock. The shoulder blades roll under. And then you can choose to have the palms next to the body or the arms next to the body with the palms facing up. Or it's also quite nice to bring the arms overhead. That stretches a little bit more into the armpits. Fascinating. You all know Nadia, right? She also comes to these classes regularly. She's a doctor. And she works with mammography. She now said because of the COVID vaccine, the lymph in the armpit of the site that the vaccine was put in shows that the lymph has been more active digesting the vaccine material. It's not a bad thing. It will disappear again. But how fascinating it just again shows how important those lymphs are. You know, our big lymph parts are here under the armpits, in the groin, and also here, you know, behind the neck. And then those swell up, and then we know that we're getting sick. So if you sometimes even know how to find them, and you're like, I'm a little off. Like, what's happening? I sometimes feel here into the lymph of the groin, or even here in the lymph of the armpit, or sometimes here behind. You're like, yeah, my immune system is down. Let's drink some extra water. The body is so amazingly intelligent. It often tries to warn us. We're very good at not listening. Or we haven't learned to listen. It's also possible. But please know that stretching into these spaces is a very healthy thing to do. Stay with the breath. Let the hips become heavy with every exhale. Let the hips trust the block. Let the hips relax on top of the block. Let the breath help to surrender and let go. And a sigh is always welcome, as I said before. Can you soften the toes, the skin on your face? Let the eyes be kind of heavy in the eyelids. Let the space between the individual ribs of your rib cage expand on the inhale. And soften on the exhale. Whatever areas in the body that feel a little tight in these shapes, send that area a little bit of extra in your mind. I'd actually talk to my body in a way that I say, it's okay, flexors, relax, the way we talk to our cats, you know. You can talk to our bodies like that as well. Sounds a bit crazy, but it works. Lovely inversion, lovely back bend. Such a nice opening for your hip flexors. Such a nice shape for the psoas to relax. For your organs to also get a bit of a different experience because the digestive system is turned upside down gently or on an angle compared to what happens all day long. Less than a minute here. And certain shapes you're like, oh, I wish I could stay here a little longer. And that's okay. And other shapes you're like, oh, I wish I could be here a little shorter. And again, that as well is an awareness of your body. of where tension exists, of where the body resists. And we just breathe through that. And slowly bring your hands back next to the block. Move slowly here, so use a little bit of muscle activation. My muscles are deeply asleep. And then roll the spine, vertebra, vertebra, all the way down towards the floor. Once the pelvis hits the floor, you can just go, ah. Nice. From there, you can roll onto the sides and come up into a seated position. And we'll do our cow face on the other side. Yeah, I know. I know. Let's put a piece of wood on the fire. So left leg in front, block under the bum, right knee on top. Set yourself up. I just want to make sure I stay warm here. Because I did well with my fire. And I actually also just thought of something I still wanted to share with you. I'll do that later. So left leg in front, right leg crosses. And then it's the left arm that reaches up to the sky. And this is always fascinating, how different the right and the left feels. Are you going to be here now? You're going to be here with us. Huh? So set yourself up. I'll start our timer for us. You're fascinated, huh? Left arm up. Oh, so interesting. On the other side, I can easily interlace my hands. On this side, I can't. Can I? Just, but it's going to be a bit much. Ziggy is very interested in my clothes. Yeah, everything is a toy to you. Everything is a toy to you. Nice. Now, let's cultivate that upright position with the chest as much as we can. And again, if that's challenging, bringing your hips a little higher might help. Ah, and my cat is also interested in your belt, I think. Oh, these animals, they bring so much joy. There's a whole show going on behind me. You can see it. I can see it in the screen. I don't know what she's doing. Oh, cute man. You can actually only see it in the, when I look back at the screen. Are you done now? Okay, let's focus on our breath now, Ziggy. I'm just going to close my eyes and trust that you'll behave. Oh, next target. I already know. Yeah. Oh, God. How am I supposed to teach yoga with you hanging on my clothes? Okay, we'll tuck these as well. Are you done? Are you done? You're a lot of playful energy suddenly. Okay, we're halfway, yogis. So if you want, if you did so on the other side, we can start to lean a little forward. Again, you don't have to. You don't have to. There's no you have to. There's no you shoulds in these classes. It's just feeling what feels good to you. And often the breath is such a nice indication. And a smile on your face. Very nice. Well, the arms are challenging for me on this side, definitely. Very different compared to the other side. And there's no forcing, it's okay. It's a matter of accepting that the body is not 100% symmetrical. We have a dominant side only for the fact that we're right-handed or left-handed. We have a leg that we lean onto more, even in our beds. We tend to sleep on one side more, so that all influences our fascia, our connective tissues. With yoga, we can just help our body a little bit to find more symmetry, find more balance, or at least become aware as well of our habits on and off our mat. Stay with your breath. Now, I personally feel a little bit of pins and needles in my left foot. I'm just sharing that because you might feel that sometimes as well, and it's okay, as long as there's no sharp pains. It might even be linked to the fact that my hip just, well, popped is a big word, but did a little bit of a pop before, that now there's pins and needles. Who knows, you know, it's all neat. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. I'm going to be quite happy when we can move out of this beautiful shape. Woo! Lift your chest. Release the belt if you can. You're not stuck. Oh, my right arm needs some help. And then just roll a little bit. So I've started this lovely book. I'll share yesterday's one. It's called The Daily Stoic. It's 166 meditations on wisdom, perseverance, how do you say this? Perseverance and the art of living. It's translations of very old philosopher, for example, also Marcus Aurelius. I mean, who would disagree with him? But there was one yesterday, I think it was so beautiful. So I just want to share that with you. An inspiring kind of piece of wisdom. All right, so bring your figure 4 back in. See if I can multitask. Timer on. Oh, Emma, so cute, man. Which one was it? Did I read today? Yes, today I read already. So it's just a little piece of text every day. And I think you can read it again next year, you know, it will not be boring because it's quite deep sometimes, or it's just, for me, it awakens something, and it's like almost like an intuition. Oh, not an intuition, an intention, that's what I want to say. So I thought this was so beautiful. It's actually from Musonius Rufus, Lectures, 1.133. And this is what he wrote, and then underneath there's a bit of an English explanation or more modern language. It's just a lovely, the title is Check Your Privilege. Some people are sharp and others dull. Some are raised in a better environment, others in worse. The later, having inferior habits and nurture, will require more by way of proof and careful instruction to master these teachings and to be formed by them. In the same way that bodies in a bad state must be given a great deal of care when perfect health is sought. And then the author, who is Ryan Holiday, just writes a little bit of his expression of that same sentence. So I thought it was really nice. He says, at the end of a frustrating exchange, you might find yourself thinking, oh, this person is such an idiot, or asking, why can't they just do the right thing? But not everyone has had the advantages that you've had. That's not to say that your own life has been easy. You just had a head start over some people. And that's why it's our duty to understand and be patient with others. Philosophy is spiritual formation and care of the soul. Some need more care than others, just as some have a better metabolism or were born taller than others. The more forgiving and tolerant you can be of others, the more you can be aware of your various privileges and advantages, and the more helpful and patient you will be. It really stuck with me, just the one from yesterday. It's really, yeah, I thought it was really beautiful, specifically for our country, you know, the country we live in. So I'm just gonna, just felt like sharing. Stay with the breath. Makes the time go faster too. Got 2 more minutes here. Slowly release the belt, unhook your foot, let the feet come down towards the floor, nice and gentle. The feet again can be as wide as the mat, and just lie still there. Let's actually place our right hand on our tummy and our left hand on our heart or on our chest. And just feel the breath underneath your palms for a couple rounds of breath here. And then slowly roll onto your sides. And from the side, you come back up into a seated position. Baddha Konasana legs. So that means soles of the feet to touch. And you can use your prop. You can either use a block, or if you have a bolster. I've ordered more, so if you want, or maybe Hannah, the day you come to Cape Town, you'll have to take a bolster into the plane back to Joburg. It's like, what are you with a bolster? Get a Joëlle bolster, put it some more. So if you want, then you just have to have some little bit more space between the feet, or you can rest on the feet, doesn't really matter. You can also use your block, you can prop them up. Please know that if your feet are closer to your groin, it is harder to come forward. It kind of blocks you. You may sit on something high. I'm just going to go backwards so my feet are not on the floor because it's a bit cold. And then you can come forward. So if you kind of lift the tummy and put the bolster underneath, remember that you can also create your own bolster. Now here you can choose if you want. I find it a bit difficult to breathe. Wait, maybe if I put that could work. I'm just going to turn my face to a side. And then I'll let you know when we're halfway and you can turn your face to the other side. I'm going to do my non-dominant side first. Let the shoulders relax. You can even let the feet or the hands kind of wrap around wherever they land. And then soften the shoulders away from the ears. Focus on the breath. Next week, we're going to be at the community center again. So we'll be joining our classes again between the Scarborough Community Center here, people from the village, and you guys online. One day we'll do a big session here all together. That will be fun. When Hannah comes, or yeah, we'll need to get Cornelia here as well at the same time. Yeah, big yoga reunion. That will be fun. That will be lovely. Can you breathe towards the shoulder blades? Can you breathe into the back line of the body? If your head is turned, you may turn it to the other side. That beautiful space between consciousness and subconsciousness. I love it. You know, that space where when you go to bed and you're not just sleeping, you're not awake, you're kind of floating in between the two. Yoga for me, yin yoga is often very much in that space. And it's a lovely space to be in. It's kind of dipping in and out of conscious thoughts, and then your mind kind of wanders, and then you haven't thought for a while, and then it's just such a nice space to be. Lovely, lovely way, lovely bridge between a working day into a restful evening, peaceful evening. Less than a minute here. I think this is also one of my favorite shapes. Specifically the bolster makes it so comfortable. I can feel stuff in my hips, don't get me wrong. There's definitely something happening, but it's kind of safe. And slowly on the next inhale, roll yourself up into a seated position. And then it's already time for your Shavasana. So if you have a blanket or some extra clothing that you want to put on, if you want to take an extra long Shavasana, you're like, I'm gonna, I have my morning routine now. My morning routine is getting very long because I've got my book and my cards and meditation. It's lovely if you have something like that and you're like, oh, I want to just journal and take my time. Feel free to even leave. And otherwise, you just lie back. Make sure you're warm and totally relaxed. You don't even have to pay attention to your breath anymore. You can just be. And it's challenging because we're very busy doing kind of creatures. So practice being here, being still. If you are in a very happy, peaceful place, and you want to lie back a little longer, I would highly recommend you to do so. If you're in a warm space, why not? Those couple of minutes, they can be so beneficial. Otherwise, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And notice how good you feel. And that's the thing with yoga. The results are there, but they're subtle. It's almost like you want to, before class, write down, I feel anxious, or I feel busy in my head, or my body feels tired. And then after an hour, almost like yoga is not so goal orientated, but right, like, hey, yeah, it's definitely improved, you know. Oh, start to stretch over the arms, and maybe hug your knee into chest. Oh, nice. You may roll into the side, and then from the side, gently come back up into a seated position. And let's place our hands over our beautiful fragile, but also giving, and a place of such beautiful giving and receiving of love. It even feels nurturing to place your hands on the heart. I hope you can maintain some of that lovely calmness and centered feeling that you've cultivated for yourself with you into the rest of the evening, and also have a very nice, restful, nurturing sleep. Thank you for being here. Namaste. Thank you so much. If you are interested in the book, it's this one, The Daily Stoic, but I can send it on the group as well. I'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Please send us the info on the book.
I will. Yes,
Yeah.
I will.
Thank you. Bye.